Gentlemen No Class is proud to be a part of the HC Universal Network. Gentlemen No Class is produced, mixed, and edited by M5 Studios.
This podcast contains explicit language and is intended for adult audiences. The views and opinions of Gentlemen No Class are strictly for comedic purposes and should not be taken literally. For instance, like this disclaimer. Now grab yourself a pint and enjoy.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Gentlemen No Class, a podcast. And when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. I'm Jake.
I'm Rob. Amateur hour over here. There you go.
There you go.
And this is...
What's up? I'm Kyle.
So, we're bringing back Kyle because tonight on today's show, you know...
Come on.
Back to the amateur hour.
Gryffindor.
So, on tonight's show, I hope everybody caught the episode, Disney Plus release, episode 8, right? Episode 8, WandaVision.
Yep.
So this is a spoiler-filled episode. I think what we'll do is if we're referencing episode 8, we'll try to give them a spoiler alert. So if you want to mute or turn away, you don't have to. You won't hear anything.
I'm gonna go ahead and give that alert now.
Okay, so Kyle is going to have zero control over anything.
You got me standing, so I'm going to do my best to stand still.
So, let's start at the beginning, I guess. So, we've got some cool new toys I want to play with, and I'm just throwing this out there. So if you feel like you want to support the podcast, you can always, if you feel like it, hit this link right down below. I don't think it's a link, but you can hit that Venmo, and it's Venmo at Beer Me Damn It, and you can you can send us $1, that'll buy a beer or something like that, or help support the podcast in any way you see fit. We always like to have, of course, Jake. What are you drinking?
Eureka Heights. It's
Eureka Heights Mini Boss. We don't pay for that, but
we should.
Yeah, I mean, I do pay for some of it. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, WandaVision. This is the first foray into Phase 4 from Disney because what was supposed to be first? First was supposed to be Black Widow, wasn't it? And then that got delayed.
Yes.
What is up
delayed,
with that?
Delayed.
Delayed, okay.
Black Widow, Falcon Winter Soldier.
They were all supposed to be before
Crazy.
WandaVision.
It's crazy how long we've been waiting for Black Widow.
And I think they said that it's not going to be, they're not going to do
a
Disney
out.
Plus release. They're going to do a theater release.
They're holding out. Would you care if they just stuck it out there on Disney Plus? Because I sure as hell wouldn't.
I don't think so.
Why would anybody care? Would anybody care?
I mean, I don't think
someone they care, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly it doesn't matter that they've shifted these things around. Much, I guess. I don't know. Because, I mean, that's like 3 things now before Black Widow that we're all supposed to be after. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And think about that introduction to Phase 4 compared to the one that WandaVision has given us.
Yeah, and WandaVision's like a whole brand new concept basically of the MCU. You know what I mean? It's so it starts off in like this idealized fantasy 50s Dick Van Dyke Bewitched kind of the episode 1. It's all in black and white, and they give you no clue what's happening at all. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? And that is. The only clue that you kind of have of what's going on is the commercials. So, episode 1.
Well, I mean, that we're dealing with Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone, it's like, okay, clearly she's doing something. I mean, that was obvious in, she's screwing around here somehow. But that's really it. Why is Vision here? How is Vision here? Mm-hmm. What the hell is this?
that was my first question. Episode 1 was like, where the fuck did Vision come from? Like this motherfucker's dead.
That's funny you bring that up because we have previously spoken about this. First of all, when they first, like, before that big Phase 4 slate announcement, like, the only things we knew was like Black Widow, WandaVision, Falcon, and Loki. I think that was the only thing they really said was coming for sure.
Yeah.
Before that big slate reveal.
Right.
And I remember thinking, that's cool, but WandaVision, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't sound very cool. I mean, you know, she definitely stepped up in Endgame and didn't care much for her before that. Didn't much after, but she was really badass in that movie. And now we're seeing one of the greatest, I think one of the best things the MCU has done.
Were y'all not like ready for WandaVision? You were like, it's kind of.
I was totally hyped for it.
At the very beginning, when they first said the words and we saw those titles, WandaVision and Falcon, and I think those 3 were the first ones they said. I just remember going, to WandaVision.
Yeah,
I really did. I really did.
Yeah.
So when I saw it, when I saw that announcement, I saw WandaVision and I was like, oh, they're going that comic arc and they're going to do the Wanda, like the whole like Wanda and Vision get married and they have the kids, they have Wiccan and I forget what the Quicksilver kid's name is. But like that all goes into like the kids, it was a false reality that she created the kids from Mephisto's soul, and then that reality gets destroyed and her mind gets wiped. And then that's after, when she finds back out about that she had kids and her memory was destroyed, that's when the House of M storyline comes along. And that's when she goes into this, she creates this alternate reality out of her grief and depression, which is what is happening in WandaVision now. And at the end of that, towards the end of that comic arc is when she uses her chaos magic and has the famous comic story quote, "No more mutants." And basically Thanos snaps all the mutants away. And that's a big storyline arc, but obviously, like, she can't really do no more mutants because there are no mutants in the MCU
at this point. I want to say this now. Pretty much like 90% of my comic book character knowledge is from these movies, MCU or otherwise. Not comics. So like my love for all of these characters has been built and grown solely because of the film, not the comic book pages. Sure. And that's, I feel like I'm in a smaller pool there, maybe. I don't know.
No, I think, well, I don't know. But so you have no really...
Like House of M, I didn't know what the fuck that was.
Right.
Until they started talking about it for this show. I had no clue what House of M was. It actually sounds kind of stupid to me.
The whole storyline arc was really good. I mean, that's where
just that title.
Yeah, well, House of Misery is what it was supposed
like
to be.
WandaVision.
But so like the whole thing was, that's where I assumed they were going with it, and I was like, man, okay, Vision. They're gonna bring Vision back, and they're gonna bring back the White Vision. Spoiler alert. At the end of this last episode, they did bring back the all white Vision, which he is in the comics. It's like basically he's just a robot android, no humanity left in him. Have you heard any rumors about that, like on the online, about where they're going with that?
Well, I mean, not really. I came right here from after watching it, and the only thing I've gotten in is a bunch of text messages from my friends. But one of them said, and I didn't think about this, or Silver Surfer, he kind of looks like just as in an image wise, it's like when you're looking at him, he kind of looks like Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I get
White Vision.
Yeah, White Vision.
I didn't know that when they were like lighting him up. Here's an example. I was just like, oh, sweet, they're gonna bring like this whole time. What's going on with Vision? I thought they were just gonna wake. Here's the real Vision. We're about to wake his ass up. I didn't know until like right afterwards, some people saying that's an actual thing, this white version of Vision. Yeah, I did not know that. I didn't know. So I'm excited anyway. So just seeing this shit happen.
Here's the theory and the stuff that I saw online. Check this out. So, and this is one of the things that I read, is that, so since what do we know about Vision in the MCU? We know that he was a construct of Ultron and Tony and Bruce and Jarvis
and Vibranium
and Vibranium, you know, but
and
his
Soul Stone.
Personality wise was mainly, you know, Banner even says he was, you know, complex overlays of all these different personality things, and he speaks like Jarvis. My thing is, like, if they're bringing back just the body of Vision, the rumor that I heard and the thing that I think will be super dope is you have James Spader come back to voice him, because Jarvis isn't part of it anymore. So why would he sound like Jarvis? He would sound like Ultron.
I would love that. Bring him back. Put James Spader in everything. Ultron, California.
Well, okay, so I mean, you self-admitted that, like, you're not super familiar with the comic. So
not at all.
Ultron was such a bigger part of the comics than the movies, like, gave him credit for. You know, like, it was just not.
Well, they're also really focusing on a couple things. One being Ultron in this show, the whole events of that film, and also, you know, you've got Captain Marvel and I can't think of it now, but they're
Photon.
They're kind of really connected to these certain specific things, especially Ultron and fucking. What did I just say?
Oh, I was in and out.
Captain Marvel. Captain fucking Marvel.
Okay.
Fucking brain fart.
I'm taking over your
No,
switching duties.
it's good. It's good to be.
You like that?
I love it.
You said that you couldn't get involved with the podcast when you're constantly switching and stuff, so I'm trying to help you out.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
What I'm saying, though, is I think that's for a reason. Ultron could come back, something that has to do with that, but I just love that they're fleshing it. It's crazy. These things that seemed so whatever back then, 6 years ago in these movies, are coming back right in your face and getting fully fleshed out, which is rad.
For sure. I'm with you, at least for this story. Marvel in general, I guess. You know, I'm not really backed up with the comics on it. But where does Magneto fit into all this? Because I'm hearing things.
Before that, let's talk maybe about Evan Peters for a second.
Okay, yeah, please do. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and comment on that.
Which is Quicksilver, right?
Yeah, in the X-Men movies, he was Quicksilver.
But at this point, after tonight's episode and last week's, I mean, I'm getting the feeling that he's just an actor cast in this role. Has nothing to do.
I agree
with Fox's X-Men.
I think that this just has to
this was for fun. This was poking fun at us.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
It was like maybe a teaser to something in the future that
possibly because they want to bring the X-Men and Fantastic Four in, but I think that this was just they were like. Because of the format of WandaVision, they were just like, let's tease them with this dick and see what happens.
I think everybody's jumping the gun on both X-Men and Fantastic Four. Everyone keeps saying those two things, and I'm like, I think chill out. Like, I'm not maybe X-Men now, but now already in the first thing, I don't think we're going to see anything Fantastic Four-ish for a little bit. Right. I don't think we are. I think that'll be a little bit later. And X-Men maybe now, but even X-Men, I'm like, already? I guess so. Sure, bring it on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the problem is that they've done so many story arcs in the MCU, and there's so many left to do. There's not like they've already announced, Secret Wars. Did they announce Secret Wars or Secret Invasion?
Secret Invasion.
Secret Invasion.
Another thing that I know nothing about. I mean, I know that they were speculating that in like Captain Marvel and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean that's all the Skrulls taking over everybody basically.
I go and afterwards I go and read all the comic book shit afterwards. But did you guys notice during the Halloween scene, one of the little kids says that's kick ass, and she looked to the side and she goes kick ass, and both Evan Peters and Aaron Taylor Johnson were together in the movie Kick Ass.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know who Aaron Taylor Johnson is.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is the real Pietro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
So
Easter egg.
Yeah.
It's just interesting because they really focus. She she goes kick ass.
I didn't catch that.
It's just like, what are y'all doing?
So there's so much going on in this show, and I think that like my thing is like I I can't believe that this was fleshed out all the way before the pandemic. And I feel like maybe they added some stuff to this because we didn't get any MCU content for a year.
The last time I was here, y'all have done 40-something episode, maybe almost 40.
Like that.
The only thing in between then and now has been one Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Is that true?
Wow.
Yes.
Because
That's it.
We talked the last time you were on. We were talking about Endgame and the future of the MCU.
It was right after Endgame, and since then, which has been a while, the only thing has been Far From Home. That's it.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's mind blowing, huh?
Yeah.
That is mind blowing.
I've been dying.
Yeah.
Like that's and then they give us WandaVision, which is like insanely good.
Okay.
Would it have been the same if Falcon and Winter Soldier came first? Like, or is that going to be another fucking banger? Like, whoa,
Well,
you know?
I mean, we all know that Kevin Feige knows what the fuck he's doing.
That's true. Kevin Feige does know what the fuck
And he
he's doing.
surrounds himself with a lot of other people that know what they're doing.
Exactly, for sure. When you first got into the first couple episodes, were y'all kind of like, or like did it take a little bit for you to get used to?
I was kind of totally expecting that.
Oh, yeah?
I
Okay.
knew that those first couple were going to be really just. They were going to stick with it hard.
Yeah.
And it was better than I expected, but it was like I knew they weren't going to break that TV format for at least 2 or 3 episodes. I'm glad that they really didn't hold on to it for too long. But I'm glad but it was cool like the first 2 episodes how they just really kind of stuck with it.
Did you like
but
the
it was
adaptations
awesome.
to like today's episodes, like the Modern Family,
like the Malcolm in the Middle
Malcolm
kind of
in the
stuff.
Middle?
Yeah.
Was that Malcolm in the Middle or like Even Stevens? I thought it was. Like
I think it was
Even-
Malcolm. I think it was Malcolm in the Middle because in
it's
this,
Malcolm. They tell you it's Malcolm in the
Yeah,
middle of this
when
episode.
in this last episode
Like-
when he's showing all the DVDs in the
Like-
suitcase, Malcolm in the Middle is one of the DVDs.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting.
Everybody is like, is it this? Is it this? Probably that. And then they open up a suitcase and they're like, yes, it's exactly these ones.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
idiots.
yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
That's it kind of takes away that speculation. But I like how last episode, not today's episode 8, but end of episode 7, we finally see Agnes come out as Agatha Harkness, which I predicted a couple of weeks ago.
Quit flexing.
I'm flexing a little bit, and that was
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that was before the.
Well, I read a lot of theories about that being
Yeah,
it.
and it makes sense.
And yeah,
it made a lot of sense.
but
and so
not that she was going to be like the real big bad.
Well, and
Like,
I don't think that she's bad.
I
Like
think
in,
ever
in this
team up at
episode,
all?
it's in the comics. She's more of a mentor.
Mentor, right?
Yeah.
Like then, like they're like, yeah, there's an instructor. Like Scarlet Witch teaches her. Or
No.
vice versa?
Agatha is more of a.
I meant like the opposing force, like the main opposite.
Yeah,
you know,
the
and
antagonist.
and now we've got this other, Vision thing coming in.
I don't. So like that's the whole thing. It's like after tonight's episode, because at the end of last episode, you get this feeling that Agatha was there, like the one behind everything.
Okay.
But then you get into tonight's episode, and it's like, no, she is sensing this magic, so she comes to see like, how is this person able to do this? And that's when she like forces Wanda to undergo basically therapy that she needs, and recount all these past traumas and come up and
I'm gonna kill your kids.
yeah, exactly. She's like, you are so like that was that end scene when she's like, you're supposed to be a myth. From that line forward, I got chills.
Okay, the beginning of the episode of tonight's episode, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you expect that?
The
actual Salem witch deal, or was that in the comics? And
That
I'm
was
just a
in the
fucking
no, it
idiot.
was not in the
No, I
comics.
think it was in the comics.
Well,
They
it
talked
might
about
have
the Salem
been.
witch trials. Yeah,
but
I don't know too much, but I did a little synopsis.
I thought
and
it was cool because it's like Marvel's always introducing these new things, and
Right.
now they're introducing like real witches, but they're doing it in all the Marvel fashion with the fucking shooting all the shit out of your hands and the cool
Right.
and it kind of sometimes when Agatha was like doing her shit, the purple stuff, it looks a little bit like Doctor Strange.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's
But that's
the
also
thing.
just
Well, what was that book that was in the basement?
this. I know. I had to read it after.
Okay.
but
well, there's speculation,
And I don't know much
what
about
did you,
it.
What did you read about?
I don't remember what it's called.
So the speculation online is that it's the Darkhold.
Oh, yeah.
And the Darkhold is like this real dark magic spell book,
Spooky
ancient
book.
evil kind of thing.
Okay.
But I don't think that's what it is, because they've already shown that book in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Marvel's Runaways.
Do you consider Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. MCU canon?
Disney does. I'm pretty sure.
No?
I mean, I don't know.
I've written it off.
Have you?
Yeah.
I never watched it.
I watched the first couple seasons, and it's not bad, but it's not very good. And at this point, the movies are just like, even the Netflix shows, which some were okay, some were whatever.
Right.
I've written those off too. Like, I don't personally consider either the Netflix shows or the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series MCU canon. That's just me,
Right.
and I'm pretty sure Feige said that about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So anyway,
So
just throwing that out there.
with WandaVision, is this like a one season
Yeah,
story arc?
I hope
that's
it
what
is,
it is.
because it would. Why would there be a
continue?
season 2?
That's true. I kind of like that, because these are like little tie-ins that they're going to be throwing out
It's
there.
incredible. Yeah. Like, it's almost like this type of format. They've been ready for it. This is what they should like. Man. It's almost like I can't believe it's taken this long, and how good it is.
Right.
Yeah,
because we haven't seen this yet, and they're nailing it.
And I think that, maybe Kevin had to prove that this format would work, and they had a fan base big enough to support that.
And he was going to do that with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and because we don't know where that's going. So I'm hopeful that I think it's going to be good. That Bucky Sam relationship
at this point, I know it is.
Yeah, right.
Like I know it is.
Bar's right here already.
Yes,
you know?
and the Loki show. The Loki show looks fucking good.
Loki show looks great.
It looks like he's going to be it looks like Loki doing Quantum Leap. You remember that old show, Quantum Leap?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the previews show him as DB Cooper. And I was just watching a fucking DB Cooper documentary.
I'm such a fucking idiot. I did not get that the first time I saw that trailer. I was like, dude, oh, cool, he's jumping out of a plane with a briefcase. I was like, DB. I'm an idiot. I did not catch that.
I think the only reason I caught it because I literally watched a DB Cooper documentary, probably a day and a half before that.
Can we talk about
that's convenient?
The introduction and the build-up of Monica Rambeau?
Dude, yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good. Do you know any of the backstory on that?
Real quick, I don't know a lot of her backstory other than Captain Marvel, which is another cool thing about not just WandaVision, but basically every new thing that comes from Marvel, I think enhances everything before it. Like, even the movies that you might not like as much as the others, like pick an MCU movie that maybe wasn't your favorite. There's probably something that came later that made that movie better when you go back and watch it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think WandaVision is another example of that. Monica Rambeau being, what you said, like Captain Marvel. It's just this little girl. Her mom was the best part of that movie, by the way. And I still consider Captain Marvel pretty low on the totem.
Yeah,
of MCU.
we talked about that.
But
in
WandaVision, I'm going to go back and watch Captain Marvel, and it's going to be fucking
Exactly.
better because I've seen WandaVision now, and I know that Monica's coming. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah,
sure.
so and that's one of the weird. That's one of the speculation things that people have been talking about. Like, what is that relationship like between them? And one of the things that WandaVision brings up that I didn't even know that I wanted to see, but because Spider-Man Far From Home touches on it, but it doesn't really get into it a lot. But the people that were brought back from Banner's snap in Endgame, like, what was that like for them? What was life like for them rematerializing where they were? Like, how does that affect everybody around you? People, we're talking 5 years have gone by. People have moved on with their lives, and you know what I mean?
What was that, episode 4 or episode 5?
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah, and she's walking through the hospital and people are just rematerializing
Amazing.
everywhere.
That was when I was already like, okay, they've done it. But when that episode started, you knew that this is going to be even better than you thought.
Like, sleep for like 20 minutes. She said she felt like it was
yeah,
20 minutes.
Yeah, she felt like she fell asleep and woke up and like
anyone who's somewhat described it has said similar things. Like, it wasn't that long. Like, even Peter Parker says it.
That's right. He does, because he's like
all I know is that I dusted, and then all of a sudden Doctor Strange was like, "We gotta go," and
it's been 5 years. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
What did y'all think about Far From Home?
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was a little cheese dick.
What was it compared to Homecoming?
I thought it was not as good as
Not as
Homecoming.
good as Homecoming.
Sure.
And I think that I think Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job as
Love it.
Mysterio. I just think that the plot total of the movie was just it was lacking.
When
a lot.
when I walked out, I was like, that was not as good as Homecoming. Like that was cool and shit. Right. And I loved how they were like kind of. It was almost like they were doing special effects, but he was actually just using special effects.
Well,
like
and
movie
that's how
stuff.
Mysterio
Like that
is
was
in
really
the,
cool.
in the comics.
And another person I didn't know shit about other than the fucking helmet and stuff. But he looked amazing, and Jake Gyllenhaal was amazing. Everyone's great. Jon Favreau was fantastic. And what's cool about it, one thing I did like about it is me and my wife had just got back from our honeymoon in London. And we watched the movie like 2 days after we got back, and we had just been to all these spots.
Nice.
So that was a lot of fun to watch, even though they're all CG in the movie. But you know.
Yeah. But that's the way I feel like when I went to San Francisco and went to Alcatraz. I was like looking for all the spots that I saw in the movie The Rock. None of that shit's real. None of it.
None of it.
It's all bullshit. If you watch The Rock, none of that stuff exists on Alcatraz.
Was it Michael
went
Bay
down
movie?
to the boiler room and try to match
it doesn't
the flames
exist.
with like Sean Connery.
Yeah, it doesn't fucking exist. That's why I was like, oh, we'll go to at least like I want to see the shower room, and they're like, it's just that's the first room you walk into. It's just open. Flat. You're the Rocket Man.
Well, I liked Far From Home fine. Like, it's on the top half of the MCU for me, but not as good as Homecoming. Yeah. Anyway.
So what do you think? Well, we'll get into that in a second because I do want to talk about the third film title announcement that was dropped yesterday. We can get into that in a second. But, there's still a lot of ground to cover as far as like, as far as WandaVision is concerned. Like they've touched on all of Wanda's trauma. They've gone through and they've shown us like the source of her powers, which we thought were caused by the Mind Stone, but now we're figuring out that they were just latent abilities. No, it's the Mind Stone. Vision has the Mind Stone.
The Mind Stone. Fuck.
Soul Stone is cast off somewhere, right?
Yeah, we don't know. Well, it was destroyed.
Yeah.
But the Soul Stone is the one that they had to get from Vormir.
Dude, I'm totally tripping right now because I was watching tonight's episode, and when she basically makes him again,
right?
Yeah,
I was like, oh, but it's because she has his soul, or it's like a soul thing, and I'm like, now I feel like a fucking idiot. It's a Mind Stone.
Yeah, it's a Mind Stone.
I guess, yeah.
And well, see, I was always under the impression that like, oh well, the Mind Stone must have unlocked some kind of latent mind ability with her, but that doesn't explain her brother. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't explain
why is he fast.
Yeah, why is he fast? That doesn't.
Well, I think maybe. Yeah. Well, look, he's fast. She's like almost a god level thing.
Yeah.
So maybe
she would have beat Thanos.
They were experimenting on him too. So they did some shit to him. They made him fast. Her shit was a different level because we found out tonight she was already a fucking witch.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Which
it's
means,
huge.
So here's what I'm speculating on. If she was already a witch and the Mind Stone unlocked witch powers within her, I'm thinking that the Mind Stone unlocked mutant powers within him, and that's how they're gonna that's gonna be the first foray into mutants, and she's gonna create mutants.
When
in the MCU.
when Monica came out the second time, I think. And Darcy, who's glad to have her back, she's been pretty great. Says something about, this is changing your shit, your molecules. I've gotten into arguments over this with other people because cells, molecules, this and that. Anyway, when that happened, when she said that to Monica, I was like, well, that means all those people in there, it's happening to them too. Yeah. There's the birth of all your mutants. Yeah. But
that's a fair
I don't
point.
know. I don't know.
But I mean, it would be a very centralized.
I just like the fact of them. I like if mutants come into the MCU, X-Men, and all the whole deal. I want it to be. I don't want it to be something that's already been happening. I don't like that.
You don't want it to be retconned like that?
No, well, I kind of do want it to be retconned because I want it to be something that's happening now. Like there were never mutants. They're being created now in real time in front of you because, it's like, well, we just had 23 epic movies, a whole saga. They didn't mention them once You know,
So
and now you're gonna say they've been there the whole time, or this and that.
I actually want them to come back, and I want them to come back in and be like, "Oh, the mutants were there the whole time." Well, you know what I mean? That's kind of where that's. I want them to explain all this shit, but you make a fair point. Like, how do you bring the mutants in?
I just think it's cooler that way, and like, because when you watch the first Iron Man, you don't. You're not thinking of a bunch of other shit. You're like, wow, we're watching this guy become a superhero. I mean, obviously, if you're, again, a comic book reader, you know there's a whole bunch of other shit. But in a movie form, you're not thinking about anything from before or anything now. It's like you're seeing something happen in front of your eyes. I'll take one, too.
Yes, sir.
I will have, there's one on the top shelf. There's a lime. Not that one. I don't want the mango. What would you like, Kyle? We got some.
What you got in there?
We got Eureka Heights.
What kind of Eureka?
Bunny.
You got a Buckle Bunny? I'll take it.
We got Tall Boys of Buckle Bunny, courtesy of Evan over at Eureka Heights. This is a good time to talk about Tuesday. We are going to be actually recording and doing probably a mini live stream at Eureka Heights. So tune in and check that out. I'll put up an event for that. This weekend. So Tuesday around what time did we say we were going to do that?
You mentioned I'll call it like
about
7-ish.
About 7. So we'll be sitting down with a couple of the brewers over there at Eureka Heights and talking about what they've been up to, what they've got going on, what they've got planned. So if you've ever been curious about what happens over there at Eureka Heights, and if they really do know who we are, like this is kind of our proving that they know who we are.
We did not make this up. There is a Eureka Heights, and they do
give us free beer and support us. They actually do like us for the most part.
I'm not even kidding. Buckle Bunny is my favorite beer.
Is it?
I'm not even joking.
Beer, for sure, I love
it. So
now I just want to make a point real quick. Going back to the previous question, where Magneto fits into this.
Okay. I'm not going to help here.
Okay, is he or is he not the father of?
Well, see, that's the whole thing. Is in the comics and in the X-Men side of it, he is Quicksilver's father. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they can't write that because they didn't own the rights to that at the time.
Exactly.
So
it's going back to what you're talking about, having the mutants in today's format. I was listening to a podcast and they mentioned a good point where if they bring in Magneto, the guy was a survivor of the Holocaust. He's sitting there going to be old as hell. So it won't make sense to do it with their
maybe
he's
origin. There, like he exists, Magneto and such, but there's been no team called the X-Men or anything like that. And let's see, or maybe Wolverine's been around, but he hasn't been in, now I'm negating everything I just said.
Yeah, but
maybe they have all just been around.
You specifically just said that you did not want that to happen.
I just felt like we were going to have some time before we were saying things like Magneto and mutants and Wolverine. I didn't think it was going to be happening right now in the very first thing we're getting for Phase 4.
He's no dummy, so I mean, all faith to him. Whatever he rolls with, I think we're down.
Yeah, and so my thing is, I think you're right. I think that dropping the X-Men in this early would severely undercut...
Planting the seed, sure.
Planting the seed, yes. But dropping them in the universe now would very much undercut everything that they've done with 23 movies and this fantastic show and this whole slate of things that have already been lined up that are coming out that I'm so stoked for. All of the new Marvel shows: The Secret Invasion, Armor Wars, Ironheart, the
She-Hulk,
Loki show,
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. All of these things. I think that
Eternals.
The Eternals.
Another one we should have seen already. We should have seen Eternals and Shang-Chi.
That's right,
and
Shang-Chi.
Black Widow. By the way, Kevin Feige was calling it Shang-Chi. So I'll go ahead and call it Shang-Chi.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Default to the Godfather. That's not a bad idea. My whole thing is like, I feel like you're right. If we bring in the mutants now, it just kind of undercuts everything that they've done for 23 plus movies in this awesome show.
Yeah.
And this whole slate. But what I do want to see them bring in is I would love to see them bring in the Fantastic Four. I think now's a good time to bring it in because nobody remembers how shitty those last two Fantastic Four.
No, I think they do. And that's probably why they haven't brought him in.
I don't think so.
I think it's kind of
because I want John Krasinski to be Reed Richards.
Oh yeah,
John Krasinski,
so bad.
And
his wife Emily Blunt to be,
of course,
Sue Storm.
Of course.
Okay.
I mean,
That
of course, do it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like why wouldn't you? Because they didn't Monica say that she was looking for like an aerospace engineer or something like that? Like
that was
her
she
friend.
She came.
Who?
It was that
girl
sergeant
from-
lady.
yeah,
it was like
from
not.
40
It was
Virgin.
like very underwhelming. She came to like build the truck that didn't work at all.
I'm thinking someone else did. I'm thinking about the girl that went into the hex.
Monica.
No, not Monica. But the other
Darcy.
Darcy, the one
Darcy.
that's with Vision.
No, she was already there when she said
she
that.
was already in there.
Yeah,
Right,
she was
right,
in the
right.
room and she was texting, and it ended up being that sergeant lady. Don't even know her name.
She's not an aerospace engineer. I think she's talking about somebody else.
But she was talking about building that
true.
that vehicle.
Yeah.
But maybe
okay.
she was talking about building that vehicle. That sergeant brought her the vehicle.
I guess so. Yeah,
That
I
doesn't
hope
mean
so.
that she built it.
I hope so, because that was a very underwhelming moment, because I thought that's what they were doing.
Right. But I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't think so. I think that we're waiting on somebody else. And so here's what Paul Bettany in an interview said, that there are, or maybe it was somebody else. Anyway, but
It was him.
they said that there's going to be 3 more MCU cameos, and that was before tonight's episode. And there was not one in this episode. So, and he said it's not Doctor Strange.
He also said that he's willing. He can't wait because it's someone that he hasn't worked with before.
So
He's
Yeah,
that. Oh,
he hasn't worked with before. So we don't know.
interesting. Okay.
there were so many times in this episode where you thought you were going to see someone, and it was just like when at the very end, when she creates Vision again and they sit down on the couch and she goes back to being black and white, and then you see something red behind them, and I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? And it was just her. It was in her damn sweater.
Okay, so you're bringing up a good point, and I want to ask you this because you are the guy that gets super animated when you're watching the movies and stuff like that. So I want to know, like, how many times, because we were talking before the podcast started, that you and your wife, your tradition on Fridays is to watch the episode casually and then watch it again. How many times watching that episode are you just picking apart every single thing that happens? Like, oh, is that important or is that relevant? What's that going to be? How often were you doing that?
I mean, the
Do you enjoy the episode then? If you do that?
No, but I mean, not like. I follow people that do that for me. Okay. On the internet,
right,
but I mean, we'll do it on our own while we're watching. You know, usually it's just like we watch it, and you get your first reaction. But the beauty of what's so great about having this shit in show form on streaming is you could just press fucking play again and watch it again, and it's not that long. You know what I mean?
30-minute episode.
It's like, so instead of like going and seeing a 2.5 hour movie and then being like, well, I can pay some money to go see that again, sure. Or I can wait until it's at home to watch it again over and over. But this is fun because it's just like right away I can watch that again and experience that again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gets better every time you watch it.
For sure.
I think.
Yeah, I haven't gone back.
And it's not just 2. We'll do a couple more by the time the next episode rolls around. I'm telling you.
I want to do whenever next episode comes out. I'm gonna binge again, and I'm gonna sit down and watch episode 1 through 9.
And it's great because you're going to be able to do that in a day or 2,
have you watched it
easy,
with your
maybe
wife?
one day.
Yeah, we watch it together
if you want.
So I didn't watch it, and now it gives me a reason to watch it again because I get my wife in.
I'm telling you, like I think she'll like it.
I think she would.
And I watch it with my wife because my daughter is 11 and I got her into the MCU, so that's our thing.
Parenting
It's awesome.
done right.
Yeah.
I plan on doing the same thing.
Yeah, and so one of the things that like my daughter's thing is like everything that I tell her is good, she refuses to believe is good, and she will not experience it. Vis-a-vis, I've been trying to get her to watch The Lord of the Rings for forever.
You gotta
And
pack a lunch for that though, man. It's a haul.
you know what? But we watch a movie every night, and
I'll come back and talk to you guys about Lord of the Rings.
When we were stuck in the house for like 2 weeks, you know, through the snowstorm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I just popped.
You
it
had
on.
power during that snowstorm.
Yeah,
right?
I didn't have power. Well, I didn't have power. I had a generator, which I have to pay the natural gas bill on that, which I'm not looking forward to.
A generator that lit up everything.
Yeah, everything.
Awesome.
So God, you're making me feel bad.
No,
dude.
no, 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 no.
I felt
Doing
like
podcasts
dude. I
and
felt
nobody's
like,
watching.
I felt like this was gonna be. I felt like I was gonna be in The Purge. Like I had to go cut the front lights off, and I was like, man, somebody's gonna come over here and just like beat my door down.
Some electricity, man.
Right? I'm gonna take a hot shower, bitch. But like we watched that. I just kicked it on, and she fucked around for like the first 30 minutes of it and refused to sit down. And she finally sat down and watched some of it, and then she was hooked. Let's watch the next one. Then we watched the next one, and then The Hobbit, and then So I mean,
Out of order, cool.
yeah, we did not watch The Hobbit. Okay,
I usually, when people really don't like things, I usually am like, well, that's okay. If I don't hate that, it's fine. Yeah. People hate those Hobbit movies. I love them
because they like the books, and they're nothing like the books.
The book.
Sorry. You forget because he was like, hey, I'm going to take this 120-page book and stretch it into 3.
That's all 120 pages?
Yeah, The Hobbit is
It's
very
tiny.
short.
It's tiny. Really? But what if at the end Vision shows up?
No. Did y'all like the Halloween episode where they whip out those old school costumes?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah,
That was
dude.
legit.
But it wasn't. It was all of them. The kids, Pietro,
Yeah.
they all had it.
They all had their old but
it was it was old, but he still had like yellow chucks on. You know,
exactly. That was
awesome.
That was one of the better lines in the show when Vision's like, there was nothing else in my closet,
Yes,
and he's like, love you.
So everyone starts to say things to her like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like, do you want me to do that again? And this and that.
That's when you start figuring out who's under her control and who's not. And Agnes is the first one that kind of lets on that she's not under, Wanda's control.
Who the fuck is Ralph?
Satan. That's what I heard.
Is Ralph the rabbit?
I don't know.
What I've heard that the rabbit
It's not a
was
rabbit.
Agnes's child. That's
I haven't.
He feeds
It's
her-
not a rabbit.
feeds-
It ate a
fucking
meat
bird or whatever.
Maybe it's. I mean, I don't know. That's. I.
Did it turn back into the cicada, or was it still a bird
It was
when
still
the
a
rabbit
bird.
got it?
I'm pretty sure.
I want to watch it
That would
again.
be awesome though. Question: explain this. Wherever she goes to, I think it's Ellis Road or whatever road it is that you cannot go past, and Agnes is there. Vision comes in, and that's when Vision kind of realized, okay, something's going on. But he untrances her.
But she was never trained.
She was never
She was
tranced.
acting. At the end
Right.
of last episode,
That's
it
one of the
shows
best
that.
parts of that reveal is showing her in that car, and she does that to the camera.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
That's true.
lost it. But you bring that up, and that's like, what is this Vision? What is this Vision that we're seeing? What is he? Because if he can make these decisions, like something's weird, I'm going to tap you. It's like if she's made him and controlling, he's obviously has some sort of.
But she's not controlling him.
Then what the hell is he? What is he?
We don't know. And that's one of the things that I thought of watching this episode was like, she has made a corporeal Vision that can't leave the Hex, but she is controlling. Maybe she doesn't want him to leave, and that's why he was being destroyed. But she made those 2 kids of hers, and in the comics,
Did she?
Yes, they said those kids did not exist before she made them.
Okay, I know, but so that's what happened. She just,
And I think
using
that
her
when
witch
she-
powers.
Yeah, I think
she
when
just
she-
produced these real children that are real.
Yes, she has. Agatha even says it in the episode. You're supposed to be a myth, a witch with the power of spontaneous creation.
Oh my god, dude! And then she says the Scarlet Witch.
And she calls it the Scarlet Witch.
Okay,
I'm getting goosebumps.
Now I know it's incredible.
saying
And
that.
I was just having this conversation elsewhere the other day about how many times some characters like Iron Man, Thor. Obviously, it's his fucking name, but some of them get said a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you got to think how many other names that barely really are actually said that who they are as a superhero, They don't say
Like their character
they don't
and
say
stuff.
Black Widow often.
No, you're right.
No,
They
they don't
they-
say Captain Marvel.
they've said
either. They refer to her as Captain Marvel in Spider-Man Far From Home, but that's it.
You're right. They don't say that much. They don't say Hawkeye too much.
Well, I mean, that's his code name.
It's his code name, but but that's one thing that's great is you've gotten to know these characters, so now you go by their first names at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy awesome.
This may be dumb, but do they say Wolverine in any of the movies, or is it like they always call him Logan?
Well,
in the X-Men movies?
In the
do they call him?
Yeah,
Like,
fuck
They
those
call him
movies.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Do they? Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay.
call him Wolverine. Stryker calls him Wolverine all the time.
Striker. Yeah.
But this is literally. I mean, I think it's the very first time they've said those words.
Yeah, they have, because there was an episode. It was like episode 3, episode 4, when they're like, when Agent Wu is like, when they're asking what's what's her secret code name, he's like, she doesn't have one. And I was like, why did they just say that? Because we talked about this the last time you were on. There's always a reason. There's always a reason why whatever line is said, whatever thing is set up. There's always a reason for it to exist. So why did that exist?
Yeah. They're making everything they've done from the past. They are not letting it go. They are not saying that was all for nothing. Like even like shit like the Incredible Hulk. General Ross is going to be back.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like they're not leaving anything. They're not leaving anything behind. You know, they're still like the fact that they went back and we witnessed like the scene where they got bombed and shit. And one of the first things that like Pietro and they talk about in Ultron is that moment.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it fleshed out in full form. Come on, man.
Yeah, and so what do you think? Because Wanda said that no, the bomb was a dud, and Agnes was like, so you just used your you used the hex probability hex to keep it from exploding. She was like, no, it was just a dud. Do you think it was a dud, or do you think it like she was using her magic on it and didn't know it?
I think they were pretty much telling us that she used her magic.
Yeah,
for sure.
I thought so too. Because I think that that blinking light on the bomb
Toaster.
references back to the toaster.
Oh!
Yeah. So
Crazy.
Yeah.
I've loved. I don't care what it was about, but I loved that fucking kid on the island.
Oh my God!
Commercial.
God, that
like,
was fucked
whatever.
up, though.
Whatever the meaning is.
You know why you liked it? You liked it because
it was our time.
That was our. It was our time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was like a Go-Gurt commercial. Or
Yeah,
some
that's
shit.
exactly what I thought. It was Go-Gurt. It was awesome.
Or what were the other like the fucking shark fruit snacks? You remember those? Like everything was claymation in the 90s and 2000s.
I remember the sharks things. Yeah.
So that's what it reminded me of. That and like in the Go-Gurt commercials. But
the commercials have been awesome.
There's
the theory about each one represents one of the Infinity Stones.
I hadn't heard that.
So, you know, you've got the toaster, and it's kind of like, if you look at it right, it's almost like Vision with the thing in his head, even though it's red or whatever. And then you had the spills when they're wiping up that red, and that's because the ether's was more of a gas liquid, and it's supposed to like represent the ether. And then when they did the soap,
angry sludge.
That soap commercial, it's literally a blue cube.
Oh shit.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about the Strucker
commercial?
watch?
Don't know. Don't remember.
The time stone.
Time stone. Fucking time stone.
We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna sit here and figure this out
Nexus,
live on
Nexus
the air.
commercial.
Yeah.
The Nexus is this theory of the like a point where the linings between the interdimensions is thin enough where you can bleed over into other realities, and there are this theory of Nexus beings that can kind of go in and out of those things. Doctor Strange is a Nexus being.
They're not
Scarlet
like
Witch
they're
is a
not
Nexus
tethered
being.
to like one
reality.
Like we're tethered to this reality. They're like I guess interdimensional even you could say.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. So this was episode 8, right? This
Yes.
was episode 8. There was no commercial in this episode.
There was no commercial. There was no intro.
It was a lot of information.
There was an intro. There was a previously on because
No,
that's what
but
the name
no,
of
but
this.
there was no like mimic television
no
show
mimic.
era
Oh, yeah,
intro.
yeah,
no,
no,
they were
not
just.
this
This was we're in an MCU movie now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing.
It's full budget. It's big budget.
Full
MCU.
budget. When you were talking about Ultron like not being able to leave, one of my favorite scenes thus far is when he's trying to leave and he's reaching for them. He's like, people need help in here. But before he was on the ground, they do this epic shot where it's like the hex wall on this side, and he's pulling out of it, and it's just like dragging him back. I don't know. I just thought that shot was fucking awesome.
That was a good shot.
And I skimmed through some of our last conversation when I was here, and I was literally saying like how much I really didn't care for Scarlet Witch, and I wasn't like huge on Vision either, and their whole thing was like whatever to me. It really was. Sure. And now I'm like, It's exact. They're like, no, fuck you. You're gonna love these people. You know what I mean? And you do. And also, it helps that they're both incredible actors.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And I think that it was Paul Bettany had said that he was like, I was more than happy to come in and do my work for Jarvis and leave and not be involved in these things. And then Kevin asked me to be like this character. He was like, and I really didn't want to do it.
Paul Bettany,
day
one. From day
one. He's been in more MCU things than anybody else.
Almost. It's incredible.
I think that he has the record, doesn't he?
Of MCU appearances.
Yeah, I believe so.
Fuck. Well,
because he's been Jarvis.
I mean, the big ones are Iron Man for sure, because he's in all Spider-Mans, every Avengers. Thor's been in a bunch.
Robert Downey Jr. though, I mean, he has cameos.
Paul Bettany might be up there, man.
I think I saw an article that was true, that he was in it. Anyway, that's somebody who's watching fact check that and put it in the comments.
So right now we left with Monica Rambeau still in the Hex, right?
We were talking about Monica earlier. We kind of got away from her.
That's true. Yeah, so
she's still in the Hex, right?
But okay, real quick though about Monica, something that I want to say is we saw the birth of an origin story.
Yeah,
we did.
Well, technically, on different levels, is this an actual Scarlet Witch origin story? Has this whole experience with this character been one long origin story until this very moment of the ending of this episode?
Okay.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, you make a fair point, Jake. Where is Monica Rambeau? Because the last we saw her, she was standing outside.
Her and John and her and Wu were bailing in the SUV when the Hex was expanding.
No.
Yeah.
No. I disagree.
Oh no, they left before that. They left before that.
Back into the Hex at the end of last episode. Quick in the mid-credit scene, she's opening up the doors into Agatha's basement.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Snooper's gonna snoop.
Oh, you're right, dude.
So where is she?
Evan's got her.
Part of the battle at the end.
Yeah,
because she realizes
Evan Peters got her.
She's able to.
We're kind of looking at the teams form that we're going to see fight next week.
Yeah,
Geraldine or Monica Rambeau is going to be with.
I cannot wait for her to go full on. I mean, it might not be full on in the show later on in the movies, but we're witnessing what's probably going to be a pretty prominent Avenger over the next couple of years. Her Monica Rambeau, and I'm very excited about it. She looks so badass.
Yeah.
When her eyes were like baby blue, it was so awesome.
And so like that brings we've seen certain things happening back and forth. These preview scenes that we've seen that we still haven't gotten. There's the talking scene between Vision and Scarlet Witch where they're like, if this is our home, let's fight for it. We know that's next episode. We know there's going to be a big battle.
Anything that was in the trailers we haven't seen yet, we know is going to be the next episode.
Exactly.
And there are some scenes where she's wearing the same outfit that we haven't seen yet. That she wore
outfit?
The outfit she wore all this episode, the sweatpants and shit. There's a scene where she's like flying outside off into the air, and I thought that was going to happen at the end when Agatha had the boys, which she looked incredible up there in her full fucking witch gear.
Yeah. What did you think about that intro, the intro scene into this one with the flashback to the Salem?
Well, that we were
and her taking the other witch's power.
I was saying earlier that for one, it looked like Doctor Strange a little bit to me.
Yeah.
Now you notice like when she got all the whatever's down on the ground, and then it's just her mom, and they're doing like a fucking who's like a Harry Potter almost, and. And the mom all of a sudden has this like blue crown.
Yeah, I saw that because she's like the witch queen.
And doesn't like Scarlet Witch sometimes have like a similar thing?
No, it's a little different. Like her headgear. I think that was supposed to like her being like the witch queen, the head witch or something. You know what I mean? Maybe. But like they haven't really fleshed that out. Like this is kind of new ground. So like no way. I had no idea that
why 9
about
episodes? They should have done 10 episodes. It looks like that's gonna be a lot of shit going on next episode.
A lot of shit going on. You know Hopefully, it's a full hour.
maybe it's going to be an entire MCU movie to MCU, like hour and a half, 90-minute or
Give
something.
it to me. Yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah,
dude.
I would love that. Like, but you know what the funny thing is that they've already said that Falcon and the Winter Soldier's 6 episodes.
Hour longs though.
Are they hour long
Yeah.
episodes? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. I can deal.
This
with
is going to be more of like an action series or something along the lines of like. Like Walking Dead or something where they're all like long and except those have more than 6 episodes, but that's good, and then it's on to the next thing. I think we've got after WandaVision, there's a week in between, and they're going to do that whole, how they do for the Mandalorian, where they do the round table.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're going to do that similar thing for WandaVision in the week in between. That and Falcon Winter Soldier. So we got one Friday in between, and then the next Friday Falcon and Winter. So we don't have to wait that long, guys.
Yeah. And I think that's the good thing. Like though, they're just
keep it going. They've made us wait.
Going.
They've made us wait, and they've made us wait.
Yeah.
Like now they're just the faucet's open, and they're just going to give it to us. And I'm going to take it.
Yeah,
it's awesome. You got first the Mandalorian, then this. Now this.
I'll say this.
I don't want to get started on the Mandalorian.
Oh shit, you're a Star Wars guy.
Yeah, you know it.
Damn.
You didn't like it or what?
I love the Mandalorian.
Okay, good. So I didn't know what to say. No, anyway. So like you said, you earlier mentioned like I get crazy watching stuff. I guess so, but on that last episode of season 2 of Mandalorian, I was screaming and swearing and yelling and running around the living room. But I have to say, like, WandaVision to me is kicking the shit out of both seasons of Mandalorian.
No.
But I will say, though, that I'm also very much more connected. I love Star Wars with all my heart. Yeah. But I'm much more connected to this MCU stuff. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man.
The MCU, I mean,
I had Star Wars growing up. Like we all did.
Yeah, and I think that like we're splitting hairs here. I mean, I don't want to get into
we're splitting hairs, but MCU's.
I want to do it. I want to do a Mandalorian episode, but like there's just so much shit going on with the Mandalorian right now. I just don't want to get into it with all the like
oh yeah.
You know, like the Gina Carano shit, Jon Favreau threatening to leave.
Oh God.
That'd be like Disney would be. Oh God, that would be the stupidest thing if fucking Disney lets him go.
Since we're on that topic, is it ironic? And by all means, guys, I am a fan of it. I'm 100% supportive and on board. That this is essence a female-driven series, and it's like taking all that politically incorrectness and shoving it in their face. Like, no, we don't care about that. We're doing it this and showing
everybody
about
WandaVision.
It fucking works. Yeah,
absolutly, dude.
I
don't know what they're trying to push or not.
I don't think it was.
But when I watch, it definitely is a bunch of great female characters. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's not. They didn't do that. Like,
great
specifically to do that.
I don't think they did that.
Did that. I mean,
it calls for the story.
Where has Catherine Hahn been? She's killing it.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I hope she's in more than just the show.
For sure.
Because she's awesome.
I agree.
And Monica is awesome. I cannot wait to see her kicking ass with the team later on because it's gonna happen.
Yeah, and so somebody chimed in for us. Josh, thanks for this. Paul Bettany, 8 movies. Robert Downey Jr. 10. So
Josh
there. Josh Pearman.
What up, Josh?
So
wait, who? What?
Paul Bettany was 8 and RDJ was 10.
Okay, so it's RDJ.
Yeah.
And then Paul Bettany, though.
And then Paul Bettany.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And he's like blowing my mind in this show. Like he's doing all these different things that are all so good.
Yeah, I agree. So I know that there's got to be one thing or something that we haven't touched on that you're dying to talk about. Because I usually outline the shows and go through them like, okay, these are all the things I want to touch on. Stuff, And we talked about this before the show. I specifically started doing that for this episode, and I stopped because I wanted to have those aha moments, I'm getting excited to talk about that, getting it raw, you know what I mean? So is there anything that we missed? What have we not talked about?
Peters, didn't he mention?
We talked a little bit about Evan Peters. Let's go back to Evan Peters.
Didn't he make a comment? I could have sworn he did, where he's like, I look different. You know
No,
what I mean?
that whole thing, because he was being aware at the same time being the TV show character.
Yeah.
Like the both of those things were happening at one time. At least that's how I got it.
Yeah,
because he was being all like, "Yep," and you sis, and this and that. Like he was being like, "I'm aware of the situation, but I'm also being this character that you want me to be right now in this show." And he's amazing. And I think that's another reason why they were like, "Let's get Pietro in there," but let's get like a good actor. I like Aaron Taylor Johnson in a lot of stuff.
Who plays him? Is that the American Horror Story guy?
I don't know.
Evan Peters?
No.
The one that played Evan Peters.
No, Evan Peters is
the American Horror Story guy.
Yes. He's the one that Aaron Taylor Johnson is
Kick-Ass.
Is the guy.
I got you.
He was the original
Godzilla,
Quicksilver from the MCU.
Quicksilver from Ultron.
Yeah,
and he was fine.
And
he died. The only guy that's died.
So here's something: if Agatha didn't know the trauma in the Scarlet Witch's backstory, where did Pietro come from? Because she had to have did Scarlet Witch create him, or did Agatha bring him in?
Or is this just a guy that she's manipulating into this?
But he knew all of her shit. He knew Pietro's backstory. He knew brother-sister shit with them. So it has to come from her.
Agatha, you talking about it comes from Agatha?
No, it has to come from Wanda because he knows like brother sister shit with. So it has to come from her memories implanted on him.
That's a good point.
But
and Vision has no memories.
And Vision has no memories.
I don't know. That's so far fetched. But Agatha was able to read that Wanda has that and pulled it from her.
If that was the case, then she wouldn't have needed to take Wanda through all those traumatic experiences to figure out where
do you get that power from? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she would have known that already.
Here's another thing about how do they know that. They're constantly talking about very specific things that happened in both the Infinity War and Endgame battles. Is all this on film, documented somewhere?
Probably in the news.
How do they...
The news, yeah.
They talk about very specific moments.
Well, I mean,
like within these fights, and I'm like, was this all somehow documented? Like where people can read about it, and so that they know. Well, Scarlet Witch almost got Thanos there for a minute. I think it's like, how do they know that?
Well, think of who was on the battlefield. You know what I mean? Like you had all these Wakandan
did they
soldiers.
sit everyone down afterwards and be like, tell your story?
Okay, no, but how many times do you get like 60 Minutes or 2020 pulling anybody they can to get a fucking story about what's going on?
Yeah,
where did the Vision go? What happened to this? You know what I mean? Like, if you
but
were
nobody's going to say exactly what happened.
Unless it was instilled Vision's, computer.
The only thing I can think of is like there is recording stuff inside of like Hulkbuster I don't know, dude. Like, how did they know all these things in the battle?
That's a fair point.
I mean, honestly, you think about it, like when everybody blipped. Okay, that's what we're calling it, the blip, right? So when that happens, everybody's like, "What the fuck is going on? Who has the answers?" The Avengers have the answers. Everybody is going to turn to them and be like, "This is what happened." So they're going to give a press statement. Let's just walk through a real life scenario. They're going to give a press statement. It's going to be Captain America, whatever, up there. They're going to be like, "What happened? This is what happened. Let me walk you through the story." Okay, what happened to Vision? Well, when Thanos showed up and he ripped this first happened. Scarlet Witch had to do this, and people are going to be like, just like Reddit is now. Wait, but what happened to this? And they're going to have to answer that question. Then they have to answer that question. You know what I mean? And the pieces of the battles and things, just the same. We didn't have cameras on the Battle of Gettysburg, but we know what happened.
Do we really know what happened?
To what detail?
Pretty good detail, because you have people's notes, the soldiers that were there. You take all the different accounts and you put them together and see what matches and what doesn't, and then you piece it together.
There was just I can't think of what he actually said, though. It was Wu and it was Darcy, and they were arguing over who was closest to getting Thanos down. And it was like they were talking about exact like moves that were used and shit, almost like. And I was just like, how do those two know those specifics about that particular fight?
Well, I mean, that was. I'm sure that somebody was like,
I don't think it's anything.
Where did Wanda come from? Oh, she was supposed to be guarding Vision, but she went to the battlefield. Well, thank God, yeah. And when she did that, she almost had Thanos or whatever, and the other, and things get speculated and thrown around, and I mean,
There's an answer there somewhere.
I don't honestly. I brought it up because it made me. I thought I was thinking about that,
but they're also government agents, so they probably have access to all these files.
I think it's just part of the script, just part of the whatever. They're not. You're not supposed to think about that. I don't think.
So Sword, the creator of Sword is.
It was Monica's mother.
Monica's mother.
No,
Let's get her name right. What is the Maria
Rambo?
Photon Rambo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to figure. There's an answer there somewhere.
Wait a minute. What is Wiccan's brother's name?
I don't know.
Hold on.
Somebody Google it.
It's something about being fast.
Yeah.
Wiccan and
Slick
I know what it is, dude.
It's
Wiccan and Wiccan.
Yeah, Wiccan is the witch kid.
Wick is the witch kid. They're just copies. Almost.
Oh god damn! All right,
Wiccan and fast.
Weak.
What is
weak?
Wiccan's.
This is the one that's going to piss me off. Dead time.
Yeah.
Dead air.
Elevator music.
Yeah.
Wiccan and Rush.
Speed.
It's really Speed.
Speed.
I was gonna say Speed, and I was like, no, that's not fucking Speed.
Close enough.
I said Slick Silver.
Oh, you did say Slick Silver.
So, but no, it's Wiccan. And
did y'all like the fact that Agnes and I killed and whatever the dog?
I killed Sparky.
I killed Sparky.
Oh yeah,
Sparky was in the comments.
I loved
also.
everything about that ending of that episode. That was incredible.
And the Monsters fucking intro.
Playing the
That was
Monsters
awesome.
theme. On
Yeah,
there?
And she's singing.
Yeah. Was she did the
Catherine Hahn singing the Agatha All Along theme.
Really?
Yeah. And you
Nice.
know that it's the Frozen songwriting team that's writing
really?
all of this, right?
That doesn't surprise me at all. Like, why
yeah.
wouldn't you? You're fucking Disney.
I forgot their names, but the writing duo that wrote Into the Unknown and Let It Go, they're writing all of these WandaVision songs.
Good for them.
And it shows because they're all fantastic.
Yeah, you're gonna buy the soundtrack to this?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to cover Agatha All Along.
Are you?
I should. Why not?
Well, you and Sarah do covers.
It's on, Sarah. Couple. Did you hear that? Don't fucking
Challenge
don't
accepted.
We'll do it, dude.
I know you will. I'm not doubting your commitment. I believe you. So what all? Let's go through it. What haven't we covered? We've covered tonight's episode where they go through all of why the things, and then the gut wrenching, the heartbreak, or when the scene where she goes to the house that doesn't exist that Vision had bought her the title deed for.
It made her so sad that she created the whole show.
It made me almost cry.
I
was watching. I almost cried.
That's why this all works, is because they you've been following these two already for. I'm good right now. You've been following these two already, so you already have somewhat of a connection with them, and now they're just fleshing them out so amazingly. That by the time they it's because they earn everything. They earn everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's the simplest way to say how that's impactful, because even not just through this whole season, not just through that one episode.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene where they're sitting on the bed in her bedroom at Avengers Campus. Mm-hmm. That was an amazing scene, and that's one thing I want to go back and rewatch, because I want to pay attention more to their dialogue. But there's a lot of important stuff going on there, and it also builds them as characters within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And they've had interactions before in the other movies and stuff like that. So I
builds
think
them even more.
You're right. It builds them even more.
And
one of the other things that I'm trying to think of all the things that we kind of didn't touch on, but. I think we've pretty much touched. So here's one thing that we didn't touch on, and it's a very minor thing, but maybe you can give me some insight on this. When Hayward shows up to the Hex the first time, he says that Wanda stormed the Sword compound and stole the Vision's body. We never see that happen. In the video, it shows her coming in, and then in this episode we see that she doesn't really do that. Why lie about it? Why tell them that she stole? She did not. In this episode, we see she leaves the body there, and then she created the hex, and then created a version of him with her magic. Right.
He's pulling strings. I mean, I think he's playing puppets with certain things, including Wanda. Mm-hmm. I think maybe he's manipulating her to do some things maybe he wants to do. But there's something up with this dude, you know?
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, what's his end game? Like, where's he going with this?
I think he wants a vision. He wants a weapon. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Stryker.
Yeah, I mean, well, SWORD is Sentient Weapon Observation Research Division, and they don't have a sentient weapon, I guess, and, you know, you don't have a sword, you know, so, I mean, it doesn't exist if you don't have one.
So there was one thing I was like, about is the way she created the hex. I guess out of pain and anguish. I guess,
trauma and grief.
But I mean,
it was
a little bit more.
It was just like, well, that's kind of what I was just talking about. Is they really built up that explosion outward. You're right. You know, in the end, it turns out she just got real sad and just had a huge power release, and basically was like, screw this, I want him back.
Right.
Fuck all these people in Westview, and then just out of sheer emotion, just went,
she's like,
and that's how powerful she is, to where just her having that huge outburst, that huge reaction, that's what happens. And how much she kind of like in her mind was like during that moment, like, oh, I'm so sad. Okay, I'm gonna make this whole town with a bunch of fucking people, and then I'm gonna, you know, like, I don't know.
I think she unconsciously, you know, I think that the whole town switching to like a 50s theme and all that kind of shit was kind of unconsciously. She wanted Vision back because she was looking at the map, she was looking at the title deed, and been like, and thinking of the life that they could have had.
Okay, where did the letter come from in the car when she got in the car in the parking lot? Where the fuck what was that letter? And was that letter the thing?
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Well, obviously, Vision had left that to her at some point.
In her passenger seat?
Well, she had it, like, all along.
I didn't catch that. That's another thing I need to rewatch.
She's had that. She had had that probably for a long time. Yeah.
And it was sitting in that seat.
It was just sitting in the seat. And she was reliving it. And, you know, she probably didn't want to go out there and deal with it because, you know, Vision was dead and she didn't want that to happen. So by the time, you know, she went out there and dealt with her emotions a little bit, you know, there you go. That's what happened.
She fucking Gohan'd it. That's a Dragon Ball Z reference.
Oh, Jesus.
When you don't have your daddy.
So, next, I mean, what could possibly happen next episode?
The fight?
Obviously, they're
Between
gonna...
who, though?
They're gonna...
So,
they're gonna unleash the KKK Vision?
I think we're going to see some sick stuff between Monica and Wanda, or
one of bring some Monica.
Two of them are going to have to go like, okay, we need to get together because this one's like.
I think that what's going to happen is it's going to be.
What if it's Monica against both Agatha and?
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think Agatha's going to bow out like a coward because she has stayed hidden for 300 or 400 years. So she doesn't want anybody to know.
Wonder if she blipped.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
It wouldn't mean shit to her.
Okay.
So, here's what this is my speculation and my theory of where they're going forward from this. I think that in the final battle scene, it's going to be Agatha versus Wanda for her kids. Vision is going to be there, and he's going to fight for
both
her.
Visions.
Both the original Vision, the Vision in the hex first, and then Hayward's Vision is gonna get through the hex and start attacking them, and they are going to have to swap sides, and then it's going to have to be the White Vision versus Wanda, and Agatha's just going to disappear, and then
we'll see her later,
and then Monica will come in and save the day. And basically, almost
they're going to have to deal with.
I think Monica is going to witness the White Vision first.
Whatever Evan Peters there too.
Well, I think
as a little henchman guy.
So I think that what's going to happen is that in the end battle scene,
Pietro.
What's going to happen is at the end of the episode, she is going to will Vision's essence into that White Vision body and bring Vision back
through.
Will he have his memories?
This Vision doesn't. So no.
It's
and,
almost,
and in the comics, when they brought Vision back, he didn't have his memories.
It reminds me, this White Vision guy reminds me of like in a lot of superhero movies where they just like make a copy of the main superhero, but he's just like a drone like bad superhero. Yeah. Like I can't think of an example right now.
Like in
or like Wario or something. You know what I mean? It's like this wacky
like
version.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
There you go.
With the fake robots.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yes.
So I think at the end, but the only reason that I think that may not happen, and I think that this may end. So I think that eventually Wanda's going to take that version of Vision and put it in the White Vision body, but it may not happen at the end of WandaVision because Paul Bettany already said that this show ends on a very sad note.
I think both Visions are. I bet no more Visions. Both Visions go away.
Really?
And then Wanda's really pissed.
No, I think that like eventually, like she has to get him back, like because even in
what
the
if
comics,
what
like,
if this is it for them?
back.
What if they're breaking up?
Nah, I don't think so. I think that they have fleshed out this story too much for that to happen.
Do you think that Wanda's going to remain a protagonist?
You think like asking if she's going to turn into a bad guy
for at least a little bit?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't think so at all. I think that she has. Her biggest thing was that she wasn't dealing with the trauma and the pain in her life, and Agatha has forced her to deal with that. I think that now she can start healing.
Forced her to deal with that so she could figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah, but I didn't say she did it for benevolent intentions. Yeah. It's just that it happened. So I think that like that is going to be moving forward. Like I think that you're going to see like Scarlet Witch like being more sure of herself and things like that.
Well, now she's Scarlet Witch now, on the books.
Yeah.
Still, who the hell is Ralph? Like, there's the Ralph thing.
You'll have to explain this to me because I guess I missed the whole Ralph
Agatha
thing.
has been talking every single episode.
Ralph.
She's been talking about her husband Ralph, and you have never seen her husband Ralph, or she's just saying bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
maybe
there's something's up with the rabbit, and where's Ralph?
Maybe Ralph is the rabbit.
I think that's possible.
That's possible.
Like Monty Python on the Holy Grail.
I don't know.
It is the rabbit.
I don't know much about what that. I think that rabbit is in the comics.
I don't know.
I read
she has a pet cat in the comics.
Yeah, pet cat.
The dog was that Sparky dog
Sparky
was
was in the comics. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The rabbit resembles the cat, and the cat, I believe, was her son, is what I've read somewhere.
Was whose son?
Agatha.
Okay.
If you,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I
don't know anything. I don't know anything about these pets.
We'll see. March
I don't really
5th.
care.
March 5th.
So, all right. Well, I think we've gotten through most everything. We've hit our time limit. So, I think we'll go ahead and make it a wrap for tonight.
I want to know real quick, after WandaVision, everything that we know is coming, what the two that you guys are most looking forward to of the announced titles.
You say yours first. Batman, get out of here.
I'm very excited for that. I'm going to say I'm very excited for the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's one of the two, and I'm going to say for the series, I'm going to say Moon Knight. I know nothing about this person other than what I've read now, that I know that Moon Knight is a thing. I know Oscar Isaac is playing him, which is incredible. I know that Ethan Hawke is going to be in this show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I know that it's being made by a pair of directors that have done incredible stuff already.
Moon Knight is a very interesting character. It brings up, we're getting into like the real like weird shit in Marvel comics, and we're taking it all in stride now because, we had, billionaire builds a suit a la Batman, and that's what got us into like, okay, yeah, I buy that. And then, it's steadily gotten more, unbelievable as we go until you get the Thanos and the Infinity Stones.
They can give us anything.
Yeah, they can give us anything now. So I think that like for me personally, I'm looking forward to movie wise, I think I'm looking forward to Ant-Man Quantumania.
Good answer.
Because I think that Kang the Conqueror is going to be the next Thanos.
I fucking love the Ant-Man movies.
I do too. I think they're.
I love that character.
Great. Paul Rudd's so awesome. And as far as like TV shows go, I'm really looking forward to Ironheart. I'm really looking forward to watching that with my daughter.
Cool. Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Jake?
Yeah, for me, I mean,
have you even kept up with those?
No, not really. It's a fun time to be alive. I'll just take it when it comes out. Like WandaVision, I wasn't really going to watch it probably.
Yeah.
Eventually I would have. But because of this episode, I'm like, I'm glad I watched it. It's a fucking fantastic.
Tell him how you were not watching it and you binged all of these episodes in the last like week, right?
Yeah.
I
binged it,
and you've seen the rest of the MCU.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, when it comes out, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Eventually. But I like MODOK. When's MODOK coming?
Oh, that's going on Hulu. That's not even part of the MCU.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's a cartoon.
That's Patton Oswalt's like stop motion. It looks fucking hilarious, but
I know the trailer said I have not seen it.
It looks pretty funny, but
it's all great. I can't wait to.
Agreed. Every single one of them.
You know,
every single one of them.
If any of if they're half as good as this, they're going to be amazing.
I hope that we get Falcon Winter Soldier and they don't reference a single damn thing we saw in WandaVision. It's just a whole break in form. Let's go to another story for a minute and then we'll come back. You know what I mean?
Maybe throw a little,
teensy weensy bits. I mean, at this point, it's all a melting pot.
Well, the whole thing is that like. Falcon Winter Soldier was supposed to have, it was written.
That was supposed to be first.
But they didn't film it until after, so they could have, thrown bits and pieces in there knowing that. Now, Josh commented, he makes an interesting perspective. He thinks that the Scarlet Witch is going to be the big bad in Multiverse of Madness, and then have a redemption arc through
Dark
that.
Phoenix. And
well, there's going to be a multiverse arc to where they give us the multiverse, but then they end up closing it so we can continue on a straight path.
Right.
Yeah.
Is what I hope, because the multiverse, it's like time travel. It's just everything can be anything, and I'm not a huge fan of that.
Well, I mean, you could the multiverse is. She would make a badass villain. I would hate to see it because I came around on her and she's great now, and it's all tragic, and it would be very tragic. But if she does end up finding redemption through that whole arc that we haven't even seen, of course, that'd be awesome.
What's exciting for me is that thousands of years from now, this is going to be our Zeus.
It's huge.
Fucking Achilles, our fucking Greek god stories, and it's they're called Iron Man.
It is a time,
the Incredible fucking Hulk, Spider-Man.
I feel like I've landed in the exact age and time period to be experiencing these, and because I grew up loving movies and I grew up loving action movies and all that shit, and being able to experience this in real time from the beginning has been incredible.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely, I'm with you on that, 100%.
And so, on that note, we will sign off for the evening. Again, if you want to support the podcast, you don't have to really buy us a beer or anything. Beers are provided, but all of our time and all of our this fantastic camera equipment and all these things. If you want us to keep producing great content, we appreciate the support. You can hit the Venmo. I'll throw it up there one more time. Actually, it was just up there and it went off. There it is. Look, see, and I got the monitor, so I can actually point at it. It's all backwards. Yeah, right, you're way better at it than I am. So on that note, Kyle, thank you so much for coming out here and hanging out with us. Like, as soon as we decided to do this episode, I knew that I had to have you on here because I knew you were going to be as passionate about it as I am and want to talk about it.
Yeah.
The only reason Jake watched it is because I watched The Sopranos, and this was his. This was his thing. So
I like to do a little prep work for an episode that we're going to throw. And if it's going to be fucking Lord of the Rings, I will watch them. I haven't seen them yet.
We definitely we definitely have to come back when we finally get to see Black Widow.
Yes. Whenever that comes, is there a set date when that coming out?
Yeah, it's right now. It's May 7th. Theaters only, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get back in the theater. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think
just put the damn thing on Disney Plus and let's watch it.
I don't think that's going to happen. But thanks everybody for joining us. Everybody that tuned in on our live stream, we appreciate all the comments and tuning in. That's what keeps us going. That's what keeps us keeping what we're doing.
Yep.
And we will catch you guys on the next one.